Welcome, bienvenue, bienvenue à ce premier symposium pour soutenir une transition transformatrice vers l'apprentissage à distance et en ligne. Welcome everybody for this first symposium on scaffolding a transformative transition to distance and online learning. It's my pleasure to introduce our provost, Jill Scott, the provost of the University of Ottawa, to welcome you and also to start this symposium. Jill, please.
Bonjour collègues, bonjour tout le monde. Alors, vous m'entendez, Aline? Je crois que c'est bien ça? OK, parfait. Mais j'aimerais bien juste commencer avec, pour reconnaître pour reconnaître to acknowledge the land on which we sit. Kwe Kakina Pijasheg, Jill Scott, Dijnikas, Winnipeg, Dunjiba, Ottawa, and Kingston, Dub. Bonjour tout le monde et bienvenue. My name is Jill Scott and I come originally from Winnipeg, and I now divide my time between Kingston and Ottawa. Nous rendons hommage au peuple algonquin, gardien traditionnel de cette terre. Nous reconnaissons le lien sacré de longue date, l'unissant à ce territoire qui demeure non cédé. Nous rendons également hommage à tous les peuples autochtones qui habitent Ottawa, qu'ils soient de la région ou d'ailleurs au Canada. We acknowledge the traditional knowledge keepers, both young and old, and we honor their courageous leaders, past, present, and future. Si je peux me permettre, je veux juste commencer pour faire le lien entre la connaissance autochtone et la pédagogie. If we take seriously Indigenous pedagogies, it is my true belief that we will improve learning for all. That could be a whole other conversation, but it seems like a good way to start. Alors, tout premièrement, je veux vous remercier très, très sincèrement d'avoir pris le temps ce matin pour faire partie de ce symposium si important. And I also want to thank you most sincerely for all of your efforts in teaching. And I know that those people who signed up for this symposium are those teachers who are committed and dedicated and have a passion for learning. And I want to encourage you. C'est quand même une année remarquable, 2020. On a vécu des passages vraiment très, très difficiles tout dernièrement sur le campus. Mais le tout de l'année nous a présenté des défis assez considérables. Je suis fière de nos efforts. Je suis fière de notre communauté. I'm incredibly proud of how we have managed to come together as a community and do things that we would have thought completely impossible. And so it is not without the dedication and incredibly hard work of people like you that this happens. So I think we just have to take a minute and not acknowledge that, 4000 cours en ligne, presque. And I know there's been a variety of things that we have done digitally, but the fact of the matter that we have all of our students who are continuing their studies, it's truly, truly remarkable. Je sais que pendant l'été, plusieurs d'entre vous ont participé dans les séances avec d'autres collègues, on travaille ensemble dans les groupes différents pour vraiment innover et adapter les cours pour l'enseignement à distance. So Um, you know, recently we've been getting some feedback from students. We've had a variety of feedback mechanisms. Some of them have been from UO satisfaction. Some have been from um, uh, um, sondage. Sorry, what is that? Sondage. Surveys that we've done with students to give them the opportunity to tell us, you know, how things are going. And there's a few things that have come up over and over again. And so I'll just take a minute to note some of the feedback that we've been receiving from students. Students are generally and genuinely grateful for the efforts of their professors to you know, go to great lengths to make this a good learning experience. They understand the necessity of learning at distance, and yet they've told us absolutely that this is a part of how they want to learn, and it's certainly not um, sufficient in terms of meeting their needs. Alors, ce qu'ils ont dit tout particulièrement, c'est que le nombre d'évaluations a augmenté. Je comprends pourquoi. Alors, dans un mode où c'est difficile vraiment d'avoir des examens surveillés, et puis ça fait bien sûr du sens d'augmenter les évaluations, to have some low stakes opportunities for students to learn. They have also told us that it is probably too much. So I think we're going to be encouraging some reflection and evaluation on just how many evaluations we can sort of manage within one semester per course. Ils ont dit aussi c'est très très important d'enregistrer les séances, and particularly for those students who are studying in different time zones, having recorded sessions is extremely important. Et puis ils nous ont dit aussi que l'engagement c'est important. It's not obvious how to engage our students in an online forum, and I think that we are learning. We are just beginning to learn, and frankly, learning how to really leverage the platforms and technologies at our disposal. And I know that part of today is about that. And I really hope that you come away from today with some actual concrete things that you can do to really make some immediate changes and improvements in your courses. Alors, les réseaux d'enseignement, je crois que c'est hyper important. Having learning communities among professors, among teachers is extremely important. It takes time and it takes effort to do that kind of organization, but I think it's incredibly valuable because as teachers we learn from other teachers, and it gives us also energy and inspiration, especially at a time when it's hard to sort of see where our students are. We're really missing seeing them in 3 dimensions, that's for sure. Alors je voulais juste prendre aussi un moment pour réfléchir un peu sur la question de la recherche, enfin l'évaluation de l'enseignement et apprentissage. If there was ever a moment to take stock and reflect on what we have achieved and the incredible innovations, it would be now. I look at this time as a giant experiment in the massification, if you will, of distance learning. And it's not meant in the sort of the way that in the way that we sometimes use the word massification, but we have done incredible things, and I really hope that we can capture some learning from that. So I know that many of you are already engaged in the scholarship of teaching and learning on the evaluation and research of learning and teaching. And I just want to encourage you. It's been incredibly rewarding for me in my career, and I just can't emphasize how important it is. But I think we have a long way to go in your institution to value the work of teaching, and to value the research on teaching and learning as being on par with any other disciplinary research that we might do. And I want to assure you that that is a goal for me, that teaching and learning and the effort of teaching and learning is valued and recognized inside our institution for what it is. As a major part of our careers. And then just finally, alors je veux finir avec des réflexions sur les compétences, jusqu'à quel point c'est important de mettre l'emphase sur les compétences, that competencies and outcomes of learning are going to be more and more important going into the future, in particular transferable ones. So anything that we can do to make those visible for our students, so that our students then can in turn make them visible to future employers and in their future learning is incredibly important. And I'll also just do a plug for becoming much more conscious of metacognitive skills like self-regulation and self-efficacy, all of those things that are learning attitudes and learning awareness, and prepare students for greater and more complex levels of learning. And we do have, I understand, some incredible resources and modules that are available to be plugged into our existing courses. And so I encourage you to explore those tools and to really talk to your students about what they can do to become more engaged in their own learning, and more engaged in developing their own competencies, really as part of lifelong learning and preparation for everything else that will come afterwards. Alors, c'est un peu ça que je voulais partager avec vous aujourd'hui. Alors, je sais que c'est un horaire très, très chargé, que vous avez des invités qui viennent nous inspirer. So I don't want to take any more time. Mais bonne journée et merci très, très sincèrement encore une fois.
Merci beaucoup, Jill. Thank you very much. So yes, we have a very busy day with different types of presentation, exchanges, sharing of experiences. My name is Aline Germain Rutherford. I'm the Vice Provost for Academic Affairs here at the University of Ottawa. I'm going to share with you a few slides so that we can, first of all, understand why we decided to organize this first symposium, and also so that we can see what's going to happen today. So let me just share it quickly. And here it is. So I do hope that you see my screen, and let me put it here. Okay, yes, as I said, we have a busy day, a day of a lot of exchanges, a lot of dialogues, conversations. Jill recognized the traditional Algonquin territory where we are, where the University of Ottawa is. I also want to acknowledge this wonderful sculpture that we have from the artist David General, Mohawk and Oneida artist, and this wonderful sculpture, which is just in front of Tabaret, the main building of the university, is called Elle danse avec la terre, l'eau et le ciel. I also want to acknowledge our partners who've helped us to put together this first event. So nos partenaires, tout d'abord le Conseil de recherche en sciences humaines du Canada, qui nous aide grâce à une bourse de recherche pour ce projet. Our partner D2L and the platform Brightspace. This conference is also happening on a platform that Brightspace, D2L has developed with us. So I want really to thank them and to thank Rose from D2L, who has really helped us develop the platform where we'll have all our exchanges during this event. I also want to acknowledge Contact Nord, who you know, it's a long-time partner. We are always happy to work with Contact Nord. The work that Contact Nord does is so important for learners who are, you know, in a rural and remote part of Ontario. Donc, merci beaucoup Contact Nord de continuer à travailler avec nous. Et, of course, bien sûr, nous avons le service d'appui à l'enseignement et à l'apprentissage de l'Université d'Ottawa, TLSS. And thanks to TLSS, this is why we can have actually this symposium. So thank you to all our partners here. Now, why did we decide to organize this symposium? As Jill said in her introduction, we did this summer, we did a large survey across the university. We surveyed all the students, all the instructors, all the TAs at the University of Ottawa to better understand the experience of this you know, transition towards from mainly a majority of our courses on campus, and all of a sudden in 1 week in March, we completely transferred all the courses that we offered online. Et donc vraiment, la question que nous nous posions, c'est mais comment tous nos étudiants, nos enseignants, nos TA ont vécu cette expérience de cette transition vers le en ligne. Nous avons donc fait ces sondages, et ces sondages et les réponses que nous avons vues dans ces sondages nous ont dit, eh bien, on a besoin de continuer cette conversation, ce dialogue, et c'est pour ça que nous avons donc organisé ce premier événement, ce premier symposium. Vous avez accès aux résultats, aux rapports de tous ces sondages. You have access to the reports of all these surveys on the platform of this symposium. If you go on the welcome page of this symposium, of the platform, you will see at bottom of the page all the reports, and also you can download these reports. However, quickly, what can we see in terms of challenges? The biggest challenges for our instructors were, of course, to get familiarized, to better master the different technologies that we had put at their disposal to bring their courses online. In terms of the students, the biggest challenge was, of course, the interaction that we could have online. The interaction is crucial for our students, interaction with the content, but also interaction with their peers and interaction with the instructors. So these were the biggest challenges which have been, acknowledged in these surveys. And for our TAs, it was also a new environment. I mean, we have wonderful and experienced TAs, but it's different to actually to assist and to support the students in an online environment. So this was also, an identified challenge. But here again, you can have all the results of these surveys if you go on the platform of the symposium. However, we wanted to go even further. On voulait vraiment prendre toute la mesure transformatrice de ce contexte de la pandémie pour pouvoir dépasser ce contexte qui était simplement une réaction à la pandémie, et c'est-à-dire tout d'un coup, donc nos campus ne pouvaient plus être utilisés comme nous les utilisions avant. Nous avions besoin donc de passer en ligne. Donc, mieux comprendre non seulement l'expérience, mais mieux comprendre aussi les opportunités et nous permettre de repenser l'enseignement et l'apprentissage. So, for that, a survey is not enough to really discuss together how we can rethink the way we teach, and also how we can rethink all the environment, the learning environment of our students. So this this is why we decided actually to not only have one symposium today, but to have a series of symposiums throughout the year. So we are organizing 3 symposiums. Today is the first one. In February, you will have a second symposium where what we have discussed and shared today actually will be looked at in a more focused way. We will be able to go deeper in all the experience and sharing, and also to better understand the research which is being done for these online environment for teaching and learning. So we will be, we are lucky to welcome for the second symposium 2 guest speakers, Martine Pellerin from the University of Alberta. And Martine has a long experience in online teaching, learning and the different environments for online teaching and learning. Et puis aussi, nous accueillerons Sean Michael Morris de l'Université du Colorado, and both will share with us and will discuss with us their work on motivation and attitudinal shifts in innovative and digital pedagogies. Et ensuite, au printemps, nous aurons donc un 3e événement, un 3e symposium, qui, encore une fois, qui nous permettra de réfléchir encore plus profondément, d'aller plus loin dans notre façon comment dire, de définir les environnements d'enseignement et d'apprentissage. So we will go further in our discussion, but also on what the research also tell us. And for this, we will welcome 3 keynote speakers. First, Stefan Murgatroyd from Contact North, then Pascal Blanc. Pascal Blanc est la nouvelle directrice du numérique pour l'Agence universitaire de la francophonie, et John Baker, qui est le fondateur et le CEO de la compagnie D2L. Et ces 3 keynote speakers nous feront will work with us to help us actually to bring together all the different ideas, all the different expertise, all the different research practices that we will have discussed throughout all these events, but also to better understand the transformative vision that we can bring to teaching and learning. So this 3rd event is going to be important to not only just close this reflection that we will have throughout the year, but actually to help us to open to new direction, new research, new practices, and to go on working together. So I hope that you will stick with us, throughout these 3 events. I have to say that for this event today, we have more than 180 participants who have registered, so which means that throughout the day, throughout the different sessions, we will have the opportunity to discuss with more than 180 participants, majority from our community here at the University of Ottawa. However, we also have a lot of participants from different provinces in Canada, and it's going to be important to hear also their own perspectives. So the goal of this series is really to help for a reflection together, for dialogue, for sharing, but also to rethink the way we teach and we learn, and particularly that notion of student engagement that Jill was speaking about in her introduction, an opportunity again to cross-pollinate, to exchange ideas, practices in terms of instructional practices, but also assessment, to foster more opportunities to undertake and showcase action research. So the aspect of research and the scholarship of teaching and learning is going to be important, and so of course to contribute to current research. Mais aujourd'hui, qu'est-ce qu'il va se passer aujourd'hui? Quelles sont les différentes sessions importantes que nous aurons aujourd'hui? Alors, we're going to have different types of sessions today. First, we're going to have two plenaries. Donc, nous allons avoir deux plénières et deux plénières qui vont nous amener des perspectives différentes. Ce matin, nous aurons donc le plaisir de recevoir Benoît Rossint. Benoît Rossint est professeur à l'École polytechnique de Louvain en Belgique. Il est aussi président du Louvain Learning Lab à l'Université catholique de Louvain. Donc, cette perspective belge sera intéressante pour nous. Comment eux-mêmes ont-ils vécu cette transition et quelles sont les opportunités que cette transition rapide au départ amène à l'Université catholique de Louvain? And then this afternoon, we will be welcoming John Dron. John Dron, professor and member of the Technology Enhanced Knowledge Research Institute. He is also the former chair of the School of Computing and Information System at Athabasca University. And he will bring us also an interesting perspective, being at Athabasca University, a university which already has all their courses, their services online. Well, did it change something with, this new reality because of the pandemic? Did they also started to rethink also the way they are doing things? So it's going to be interesting to hear John on this perspective. However, these are two plenaries, but these two plenaries are going to be very interactive, which means that for each plenary, first we will have 20 minutes where our two guest speakers will be able to bring their own perspectives and to expose and present their perspective. Then we will have 20 minutes of Q&A, and you will really be able to bring your questions, bring your perspectives, so that it's a very interactive session. Then for 10 minutes, each of our keynotes will have the ability, will bring their own conclusion, but their conclusion is going to be enriched from the discussion and the different points that you will have brought during the question and answer period. And then at the end of the concluding remarks of our keynotes, well, you will have the opportunity to bring your last words and maybe your last question or a last comment. So each of these plenary are going to happen this way. I want to also note that the two plenaries will be entirely recorded, and also the two plenaries will be also with simultaneous interpretation, because the plenary of Benoît Rossint will be in French, the plenary of John Dron will be in English, elle sera en anglais, et vous verrez que à ce moment-là, sur votre écran Zoom, for these two plenary on your screen Zoom, you will see a new button, which is a button like, which represents the Earth with interpretation. When you will click on this button, you will be able to choose either French and Spanish, and which means that you will still, of course, see your screen and our guest speakers and their PowerPoints, but you will hear also the translation in French or in English, depending what you choose. But on top of those plenaries, we also have 3 sessions which are going to be very, very interactive. 3 sessions to share experiences. Parce qu'encore une fois, un des buts de cette journée, c'est vraiment d'échanger ensemble. Donc, vous aurez une première session là à 10h30, donc tout de suite, une fois que je me serai tue. Et c'est une session où vous serez emmenés dans des breakout rooms, vous aurez des questions qui vont vous guider dans ces breakout rooms et vous pourrez donc échanger ensemble en plus petits groupes. Une autre session à 12h45, and this session, well, you will have different topics and you will choose one topic, and a facilitator will be in the room for each topic, and you will be able again to exchange on the specific topic that you have chosen. And then the session 4 4 this afternoon, where you will have a panel, donc un panel avec des enseignants de l'Université d'Ottawa qui vont pouvoir partager les défis et les opportunités aussi qu'ils ont rencontrés dans leur propre expérience. Et vous aurez évidemment une période de questions et de réponses. Et ensuite, nous terminerons la journée avec une session finale. During this final session, we will present quickly some resources. Donc, a snapshot of resources to facilitate the transition. Et Nancy Vézina, donc du service d'appui à l'enseignement et à l'apprentissage, pourra rapidement vous présenter ces ressources que vous pourrez après évidemment aller chercher. I will have the honor to bring closing remarks. We will try together to see what are, the takeaways of this day. However, throughout the day, you will see on the platform of the conference the participant lounge, le salon des participants. Ce salon des participants est un espace où, à tout moment pendant le symposium, vous pourrez vous rendre si vous voulez justement partager des commentaires, si vous voulez discuter entre vous. C'est un espace qui est là pendant toute la journée, qui va rester ouvert pendant toute l'année, c'est-à-dire qu'il sera là aussi durant les mois intermédiaires vers le deuxième événement, qui sera là aussi ouvert pendant l'espace intermédiaire vers le troisième événement. Donc, c'est un espace, it's a space where a conversation started today will be able to go deeper and deeper throughout the year. And you will see that at the end of each session also on the platform, you also have some possibilities of exchanging about the session if you still have some things to say, after each session. But I cannot finish this introduction without saying a big thank you to Jovan Groen. We have this symposium because Jovan organized this symposium. He was there at every aspect of this symposium. So I want to say a big bravo to Jovan for what he's bringing us with this symposium. And of course, I want to congratulate, of course, all the team of the TLSS et bien sûr Rose de la compagnie D2L because, all the techniques behind and all the website behind this symposium are thanks to this team and to Rose. So that's it. I have finished, with this introduction. Now we're going to start this first session of sharing and of reflection. Donc, nous allons commencer la première séance, ce qui veut dire que dans quelques instants, vous allez voir apparaître sur votre écran une invitation pour aller dans un breakout room. Donc, in a few moments, you will see on your screen the invitation to go into a breakout room. We've break you into room, at random like that. So you will be regrouped with 5 or 6 other participants. You will see, and normally you should see that also in the chat, you will see a link which will take you to a Google form, which means that the conversation that you will have is going to, you will be able to capture your conversation on the Google form, and you will see on the Google form also the guiding questions for your conversation. Once the activity is finished, your reflection are going to be kept on this Google form. You will still have access to the Google form. Everybody within, today's symposium will have access and will be able to add elements. Again, this document, then nous allons les synthétiser, les anonymiser. Nous en ferons un résumé que nous mettrons sur la plateforme pour que vous puissiez, si vous voulez, continuer le dialogue et à travailler avec ces documents. Donc maintenant je vais arrêter de partager mon écran. Vous avez donc dans la chat les breakout rooms et vous devriez donc bientôt si ce n'est pas déjà fait, recevoir cette invitation d'aller dans les breakout rooms. Voilà. So, well, I hope that you've enjoyed this. So this first session, which was, you know, an opportunity actually for you to better know some of the participants who are with us today, but also to share actually your experience during the transition et pour partager les différents défis ou partager aussi les opportunités que cette situation vous a amené. So I was wondering, I mean, I know that you've put your thoughts on the Google form, and as I said, we will then take all these comments and we will write a synthesis of these comments so that we can learn from you and from your comments. But I'm curious here to just finish, you know, wrap up this session. Est-ce que certains d'entre vous aimeraient, soit en levant la main et vous pourrez donc parler, soit à travers la chat, partager un ou deux points qui seraient à retenir donc de cette conversation. So I was wondering if some of you, so that we can wrap up this session, would be willing to share one or two points that are that you found important with the discussion that you just had. So you can raise your hand or you can share that in the chat. You know, it's always hard to start that. So I don't know if somebody is, you know, brave enough and raise your hand, or just put it in the chat, and that's also just wonderful. I didn't have the chance to be with you in the breakout room, so I'm curious. I'm really curious to hear actually what you know, what you discussed about those challenges and opportunities about this transition. Ok, donc je vois Jean Quirion qui nous dit la motivation des étudiants, leur niveau d'anxiété est un défi majeur. Yes, anxiety. We know that we have to deal with also a lot of mental health issue with our students, and it is a difficult time for our students. So that's one important point. Mélanie, importance de la littératie numérique des étudiants. Absolutely. So I see some hands also. So Patrice, for instance, I see that your hand is raised.
Oui, en fait, nous, ce qu'on disait, c'est, bon, du point de vue des professeurs, c'était le manque de temps en ce sens où, en fait, tous les cours, même ceux qu'on essaie de transférer en synchrone, ça demande une autre pédagogie. En fait, ça demande de réfléchir autrement nos cours. Donc, en fait, je pense que nous, on s'était tous un peu fait avoir dans le sens où l'investissement en temps était beaucoup plus considérable qu'on le pensait. Et pour ce qui est des étudiants, nous, ce qu'on a constaté aussi, c'est un problème dans les attentes. C'est-à-dire que les cours, en particulier les cours à grands effectifs de première année, les étudiants ne savent pas ce que c'est un asynchrone. Donc, souvent, ils s'attendent à ce que les professeurs soient présents tout le temps. Cette grande liberté qu'on leur offre dans la gestion du temps est aussi problématique pour certains d'entre eux. Donc, de mieux clarifier les attentes, de savoir qu'un cours de 3 heures à l'université, ben, ce n'est pas 3 heures, c'est peut-être 9-10 heures de travail. Et ça, nous, c'est revenu constamment dans nos forums de discussion dans le cours à grands effectifs.
Merci beaucoup, Patrick. I see that what you share, actually, we see that also in some of the comments in the chat. So Patrick was telling us about, you know, first of all, the whole notion of time, how much time it takes to also develop, you know, courses online, but also that the notion of time, having students who are, you know, now more, how do I say that, who need to also manage their time, and how can we help also, you know, that whole question of time management for the prof and also for the students. So and again, this is something that I see in the chat also. I see Edmond, you want to share also with us something?
Sure. I was fortunate enough to be in a very exciting group chat. And one of the main challenges that was raised was engagement, how to engage students. Of course, besides the technical issues that are always there, and the need for technical support. So we discussed the approach of problem-based learning, meaning to say that to involve students in small groups and give them a chance to form this community that Jill Scott was talking about offline, and then come and show off, so to say, during the class time and get evaluated for that. So get rewarded by the grade that they got. This was my takeaway from this session.
Okay, thanks a lot, Edmond. Yes, you're right. Student engagement, donc l'engagement des étudiants dans leur apprentissage. Comment est-ce qu'on arrive à mieux gérer cette question de l'engagement et quelles sont les approches aussi qui nous permettent justement d'engager, de garder nos étudiants engagés. And one comment on in the chat actually refer to that indirectly. In fact, when I see the comment of Elisabeth saying le fait que les cours en synchrone se tiennent face à des écrans noirs car les étudiants n'activent pas leur caméra. So even though we teach online and we have Zoom and the students are there, but black screens because they do not activate their cameras for different reasons and very legitimate reasons, but it's also very difficult to engage students in that sense. So I see also Diane give students some flexibility, complete 7 out of 10 quizzes, that whole notion of assessment, which is something that we hear from our students. We really need to rethink what assessment of the competencies of learning of our students. What does it mean on an online environment? Absolutely, ce sont des points très importants. Laurie, manque de ressources pour compenser pour le manque de contact entre étudiants avec les professeurs, manque aussi de ressources pour trouver et utiliser des alternatives aux examens écrits. Absolutely, we work on that. We work on this question of resources to bring still engagement, even though we lack the interaction and the contact with the students and the profs. And again, yes, how can we do for those exam online? I mean, we are all confronted to this issue. So first of all, I want to tell you that at the University of Ottawa, and I know in many other universities, we are working at developing resources for that, but we need your feedback. We need those type of conversation so that we can focus more on specific type of feedbacks and of resources to develop. So wonderful. I mean, it seems that your conversation have been extremely lively. I can't wait actually to read the Google form. As I said, nous allons synthétiser, résumer toutes vos interventions. Là, il est donc 11h15 et nous allons avoir un petit break de 15 minutes avant donc de commencer la deuxième session. So we're going to have a break of 15 minutes before the second session. We will start at 11:30. So this is session number 2. C'est la session où nous allons avoir une plénière avec Benoît Rossin. Donc, je vous invite à revenir vous connecter. Donc là, vous allez vous cliquerez sur le lien de la session number 2. So you will click on the link of the session number 2. Donc à 11:30, à 11h30, et nous aurons donc le plaisir d'entendre la perspective de l'Université catholique de Louvain, donc à partir de la perspective sur cette transition et comment elle a été vécue par les enseignants et les étudiants à l'Université catholique de Louvain. So thank you very, very much for your participation for this first session.